So once again, my name is Amos Kaboba, and I'm one of the co-chairs for the GEO program board. So on behalf of my other two co-chairs, Evangelos and Justina, I am very happy and pleased that our first ever GEO program open house webinar is coming on. Thanks to technology, this is very good. It gives us a chance to talk, and not just to wait for the symposium, but a chance to discuss, to talk, to see how we can network. And so I see today as an important milestone for us to be able to come together as a community to learn from each other so that we can jointly work towards our post 2025 GeoWork program to bring together people and planet together, working together to make sure that we are driving towards our vision. Can you go to the next slide, please? So if you look at our evolution, since for viewers who are not in the GEO fraternity, GEO started as an intergovernmental partnership in 2005 with a clear vision to make sure that at least data was available for everyone. But as we fast forward 20 years now, our vision since 2023 is Earth intelligence for all. So how can we work together? How can we ensure that from data for all, services for all, now we are moving towards the Earth intelligence for all, where our focus is trying to make sure that from every part in Africa to all the different parts in the world, in the small island states, they all have the access to the needed services and the intelligence that is needed for us to be able to build a trusted Earth intelligence which is universally accessible. This is essentially critical. It cannot be done by one group or one initiative. And that is why there's a need for us to have this open house in order to discuss and to share knowledge before we go for our symposium next year. Next slide, please. So can we go to the next slide? Okay, so what is the purpose for this? I think, as already mentioned, there are quite a number of important things. One is to cross-learn. This is essentially important because one of the things, if you are building an Earth intelligence system, it means that everything must be connected and everything, whatever we do in a pilot to an initiative to a flagship, they must all be connected to ensure that we are pushing towards what we have to do when it comes to the SDGs. I cannot overemphasize this. The SDGs goals in 2030, we are just left with few years to reach the SDGs, and that will also require for very much a lot of effort from everyone in order to see how we can be able to move forward. The next thing is to continuously ensure the program board discussions on how we can be able to evolve the GeoWeb program. And another thing which is very important for us is the visibility, because there are a lot of things that are happening, but it's also important we can cross-learn and show what is happening, and also to help us as we plan for our GEO symposium in next year and beyond. So as already mentioned by Rui, this will always be recorded. And the good thing is that all these recordings, moderations, questions, feedbacks will all be available on our Geo Knowledge Hub, which I think is a plus. So at every time we can be able to go back and see some of the innovations and things that has been presented by all the different initiatives within the work program. Next slide, please. So today, thanks to the hard work of Rui and team and all the presenters today. So today we are focusing on a very critical, out of the 6 topics, 6 focus areas, we are going to focus on weather hazard and disaster resilience. Personally, coming from Africa, I cannot overemphasize this because flooding, issues of extreme heat, and issues about how this also affects issues of food security, food insecurity, and all the other issues of human survival cannot be overemphasized. So today we are going to listen to two flagships, one initiative, one pilot, and one convener. And the whole idea is to hear from all these different activities, what they are doing, and most important thing, what are the lessons that we can cross-learn, and how this will also help with the other focus area, because I know this is the first open house we are going to have, but there will be subsequent ones that are going to be coming up. So on that note, I want to thank everyone, especially for all the different activities that have uh, taking a lot of time. It's a difficult time in the year because we are this is December. There are a lot of things happening. You're taking time to sacrifice. And on behalf of my colleague coaches, I wish to thank everyone for making it a point to come here. And as we begin with the presentations, take note of the points. In fact, we want to be able to dynamically improve this webinar as we go into 2026. So I encourage all of you to put into the chat. Let us make it interactive. I know it's not face to face where we'll have some side wines and things and hacking and we can't have back. At least let's make it active, at least using the online tools so that so that we can feel the geo within, because we need to move into 2026 with a lot of energy in order to build the Earth intelligence system that we want to do, making sure that at least poverty is reduced, and at the end of the day, GEO has relevance for our communities, and GEO is knowing our own homes and with our children and everyone. So thank you very much, and looking forward to your insightful presentations.
Thank you, Amos. So, without further ado, I'm going to give the floor to my dear friend and a colleague, Wimble, too.
Thank you, Rui, and thank you, Amos. You really bring the energy to this webinar, and I think it can be felt and also picked up by all the participants here. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is a Wimble True, Work Program Officer at the GEO Secretariat based in Geneva. Thank you very much for your interest and valuable time in this webinar. I'm very privileged to take this opportunity on behalf of the work program team to provide a bit more details for those of you who might not be familiar with the GEO work program. Next slide. Next slide, please. Co-producing transformative programs to deliver Earth intelligence is the very first goal of the GEO's 2025 strategy, Earth Intelligence for All. But let's don't forget that there's an internal logic among these 5 goals. Goal 2, increase the global equity, and Goal 4, increase participation of young people, won't be fully realized if the underrepresented groups, including the youth, are not fully integrated in the design and implementation of the work program. Goal 3, integrating advanced technologies will only be meaningful when they are leveraged by the work program activities to deliver Earth intelligence solutions. And Goal 5, communications and resource mobilizations are definitely important, and they should be explored to support and resource our work program. So this is why we often refer to the work program as a key instrument to deliver the Earth intelligence for all. And that's why the activities present here today and future are the essential deliveries of our important and critical assets. Next slide, please. The post-2025 work program is designed for delivering operational Earth intelligence solutions through a research to operation R2O pipeline. What are the essential elements one project needs to consider in order to grow and deliver? There are five. So one is product and services, which covers the technical readiness, accessibility, and usability. And user engagement, including user identification, engagement process, and documented user needs. And impact, which looks at results framework, decision-making support, and social, economic, or environmental benefits. Team and partnership, including leadership, governance, and participation. And sustainability, which considers the funding model and resources for operations and for product development and deployment. These elements or criteria guide how we monitor and support the evolution of work program activities along the pathway from research to operations. And based on these criteria, R2O activities are categorized into 4 levels: pilot, initiative, flagship, and a mature flagship, depending on the maturity levels of all the 5 areas we have just presented. And these criteria also underpin the guiding questions we gave to today's presenters. Next slide. Yes, we are on that already. Let's zoom out a little bit from the auto pipeline and look at the full picture of the work program structure. So at the top, you see the conveners, which link the different efforts and cumulative practices. The community can come together, exchange the recent progress and challenges, gaps, and potential synergies. And at the bottom of the diagram, you see the enabling mechanisms which provide cross-cutting support, for example, on data, knowledge, infrastructure, new technologies, insight how to work with multilateral environmental conventions, and so on. The logos of today's 5 activities are placed on this slide to show where they sit in this structure. Together, they illustrate how the work program supports a continuous research to operation pathway from ideas and to pilots through initiatives to operational flagships supported by conveners and enabling mechanisms. Next slide, please. This is another way to see where the 5 activities are situated in the work program, both from the thematic perspective and functionality perspective. Next slide, please. Now we come to the guiding questions for the presenters. We have shared them in advance, but it's worthwhile to read them out now. One is a challenge and a rationale. So basically, it answers the basic questions, why this activity should exist. Secondly, main Earth observation products and services. It responds to the first criteria in the auto pipeline. Their maturity level and their accessibility and usability. So basically, this is what the activity can offer to the users. And thirdly, most importantly, we talk a lot about operations, but what we really intend is make a real impact on the ground. So what will be the potential and a design impact that activity will achieve. So this is not only a result in a few years. This is something the activities needed to design from the very beginning. And of course, user engagement and key partners. We talk a lot about co-design, co-development, and the users play a critical role here. New technologies. There are some examples here: AI, machine learning, very high resolution satellites, drones, and so on. So you can name it. So we would love to hear from our activities what they are using, what they plan to use, and finally, sustainability funding model. what they can actually jump from research projects to a sustained service. So financial sustainability is most critical. So with the 6 guiding questions, I think the presenters may cover in their presentations, but some of them may be further elaborated through the discussions with all the participants here. So without further ado, I give the floor back to Rui. Thank you.
So I was having a difficulty finding the audio button. So we're a bit behind, like basically 10 minutes behind the schedule, but let's proceed by inviting the first speaker of the activity, which is GSNL by Michelle Marie Parks. Let me stop sharing my screen. Wait. How do I stop? Oh, stop sharing. Okay. So Michelle, can you share your screen on your end and start?
Yes, can you see it now?
Not yet.
No? Okay, let me do it again.
Think it was coming.
We could see it.
Oh, you could see?
Yeah, we could see.
Excellent. It's coming.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you very much for the invitation to present today. So I'll be giving an overview presentation of the Geohazard Super Sites and Natural Laboratories, GSNL. So GSNL is essentially a GEO initiative. It was established in 2010. And the main aim of GSNL is to really improve our monitoring and research on both seismic and volcanic hazards. So we're doing this by facilitating access to both satellite data and ground-based data. And this is in our key high-risk areas. So these are referred to as our geohazard super sites. And of course, another main reason for doing this is to actually ensure that these new results and information from the super sites feed directly to our key stakeholders, so such as civil protection agencies, and then actually inform decision-making processes. Okay, so this is the, can you see the full slide here, or is it impaired by the screen? It's okay? Yes. Okay, so this is a map showing the location of the different super sites and also the one natural laboratory. So at present, there are 10 volcano super sites shown here and 2 earthquake or fault super sites. And then in addition to that, there's 1 natural laboratory, which is the San Andreas Fault. Okay, so the main EO products here are satellite images. So these are free satellite images that are obtained every year by the super sites. And in this table, you can see a list of the super sites and then also the different types of satellite data. So for example, the super sites obtain a set quota for Cosmo Sky images every year. So this is from the Italian Space Agency, Terras RX from the German Space Agency, SAOCOM, and also Pleiades data. So the first 3 here are typically used for generation of interferograms. So these are, if you like, deformation maps produced in our key areas. So for example, they may be showing deformation at active volcanoes. But the Pleiades data, I mean, this is an optical satellite data, and it's typically used to generate digital elevation models, for example, over our areas of interest. And it's also highly used during volcanic crises or earthquakes. And this is to map, for example, during a volcanic eruption. It could be mapping different hazards such as pyroclastic flow deposits or lava flows, for example. Okay, so the intended impact of GSNL and the super sites is firstly to empower the scientific community with providing a wealth of open access data. And this, of course, is then informing seismic or I should say, scientific studies. So to increase our general knowledge, let's say in this example about, changes in volcanic activity or seismic activity or specific hazards. So to really improve our understanding of geohazards. But on top of that, and certainly in the recent years and going into the future, I think there's been a lot more emphasis on the rapid uptake of this information from the super sites to key stakeholders such as civil protection. As I say, to make sure that the information coming from the super sites is given to key stakeholders in a timely manner to help inform decision-making processes. Okay, so this slide here is essentially showing the key users and partners of GSNL. So on the top here, we have the supersite coordinators. So this is for the various volcano and seismic supersites. Of course, also the in situ data providers, and then the satellite data providers, which I showed briefly on the previous slide. So, of course, in addition to this, we also have a multitude of scientists working around the world using this supersite data. Now, this currently is approximately more than 150 scientists around the world working with supersite data. So now I'm just going to go through a few examples from the different supersites shown here. So first we have the Hawaii supersite. Now this is a very well-established supersite, and here we're looking at really quite an innovative technique that they're using to map tephra deposits related to the recent eruptions that are occurring at Kilauea. So essentially, since the end of 2024, so about a year ago, there've been a series of these highly episodic lava fountaining events. And during these events, essentially there's been 37 now since December last year. And during these events, there's a large increase in SO2 emissions and also tephra or ash fallout. And in this example, the supersite scientists have been mapping the ash fallout, and it's displayed in the green amplitudes you can see here. Now, this has been particularly challenging for the scientists here and especially scientists at the Hawaiian Volcano Observatory, because the ash fallout has been affecting roads. So they have been clearing the ash from the roads and also having to dig out some of the monitoring equipment. But despite these challenges, Hawaii is a great example where essentially the supersite data has been completely integrated into their operational monitoring. So this enables them to inform civil protection and other stakeholders such as landowners in the area, during these events. So moving on now to the Icelandic volcano supersite. So there has been a lot of activity here on the Reykjanes Peninsula, which is on essentially the southwest tip of Iceland. Activity here recommenced at the end of 2019, excuse me, with the first eruptions in Fagradalsfjall in 2021 to 2023. There were 3 eruptions in this area, and then activity jumped in December 2023 to the Svartsengi volcanic field. And essentially, excuse me, this area is very close to the town of Grindavik, important infrastructure such as a power plant, and also a very popular tourist destination called the Blue Lagoon. So this slide is just showing an example of how the supersite data is used. So here, during these episodes within the Svartsengi volcanic system, excuse me, we have continued inflation of the reservoir prior to these diking events and eruptions. So on the left-hand side, we're looking at Cosmos SkyMed data showing this inflation. And on the right-hand side, we've got a series of different interferograms and predominantly ISI. Now, these are used to map the deformation during the actual diking events and eruptions. And this is because these are very short period interferograms. And this is important to use during these events because typically these last on the order of hours. And straight after, the volcano reservoir starts to inflate again, which is why it's more useful during the events to use the short period interferograms, but I'll come back to that a bit later. So here's an example again. On the left-hand side, we're looking at a series of lava flows that have occurred essentially since December 2023. This is the location of the town of Grindavik here. And what we're doing is we're using this data, the supersite data in real time, to essentially map volume changes within the Svartsengi reservoir in between these different diking events. And this is feeding directly now into the medium-term eruption forecasting. It is still challenging because these events are occurring quite frequently. So as I say, since December 2023, we've now had 9 eruptions in this area. It becomes more difficult also if there's a change within the volcanic system. So during the first few events shown here, we were calculating the volume drop in the reservoir during the prior event and assuming that this volume had to be recharged before the next event was triggered. Now, this was working very well for the first few series of eruptions, so essentially up until March 2024. But then, as you can see, something in the system changed, and after this, a larger volume of magma seemed to be required to accumulate before the next event was triggered. This, of course, then provides a longer uncertainty period, if you like, or time window for the forecast. Of course, now we are also coming up to the festive season, Christmas. Many people want to return to their homes in Grindavik over this time of year, which of course makes things more challenging. Okay, this is just an example of where one of the super sites was actually asked for assistance during a seismic unrest. And this was at Santorini earlier this year, in January this year, where there was a major volcanotectonic unrest initiated about 10 kilometers northeast of the island of Santorini. So here's the island of Santorini on this upper panel on the left-hand side, you can see here. And this is where the extreme seismic activity was occurring in January this year. So scientists from the Iceland supersite provided support by modeling the deformation data and helping to determine the cause of unrest. So here the modeling results indicated that this was in fact triggered by a massive dike intrusion just to the southeast of Colombo volcano, which is shown here. Okay, moving on to the Virunga supersite. Now, this supersite faces very difficult challenges, and this is partly because of the ongoing conflict in the region, but also because of its close proximity to a very dangerous volcano. So this is Niragonga volcano, which is about 12 kilometers to the north of the city of Goma. Now, just to give you a better understanding of kind of the potential for societal impacts here, during the activity here in 2021, there was a large dike intrusion and an eruption which lasted several weeks. And during this period, approximately 400,000 people were evacuated from Goma, and about 3,600 houses were destroyed by lava flows during this event. In comparison, for the recent activity in Iceland that I was just showing you, on the 10th of November 2023, when there was a large dike intrusion under Grindavik, about 3,300 people were evacuated, and in January 2024, 3 houses were destroyed by lava flows. So I just want to give you a better understanding of why this supersite really needs additional support, and this is support both based on funding, new infrastructure, but also training as well of local scientists. Okay, moving on to the sustainability. So GeoGSNL, I mean, it is mainly based on in-kind resources. So these are, for example, contributed salaries by staff, data that's made available, obviously from the satellite agencies, but also infrastructure as well from the different agencies involved in the super site. So we do try to obtain direct funding through other project calls, for example, other project proposals or international projects. And perhaps this may fund, for example, field work or some equipment that's used by the super sites. But of course, donor funding is still sought for super sites in less developed countries, such as the Virunga super site. So moving forward, our future strategies are to really encourage more collaboration and data sharing between the existing super sites. These super sites face different challenges, and of course, they have different areas of expertise as well. So depending on, for example, the different styles of eruptions that are occurring in the different areas. So we feel that enhanced collaboration here is extremely important. Also, as I mentioned, to provide additional support to super sites within less developed countries, such as the Virunga super site. I mean, I think it is extremely important to support, these super sites and countries that obviously have extensive geohazards, but don't have the same opportunities or funding that's available to other super sites, for example. We'd also like to engage with private satellite companies such as ISI, and this is in order to obtain these shorter period interferograms that I was showing you are extremely useful in Iceland for these short-lived diking events. Possible for GEO to assist GSNL with these future objectives? And if so, how would you propose going forward to achieve this? Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. So since our time is 10 minutes behind, I wanted to ask everyone to put their questions to Michelle in the chat instead of asking immediately, verbally. So Michelle, can you stop sharing and then Fernando start sharing, please? And hopefully we have plenty of time to have more interactive discussion later on. Fernando, ready? Can you share your screen?
Please let me know if you can see my screen
Yes.
in
Perfect.
presentation mode. Yep.
Perfect.
Can
Please
you?
go.
Okay, excellent. So I'll go ahead then. So first, as an introduction, my name is Fernando Sedano, and I coordinate the wildfire team at the Disaster Risk Management Unit of the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. Okay, challenge and rationale. So this is about wildfires at global scale. As you probably already know, the wildfire regime is changing globally. The fire seasons are getting longer, heat waves are getting more intense and more frequent, and that's having some consequences. Here in the slide, you have a clear example of what happened in 2024 in the Amazon basin, where for the first time in records, forest fires were the first cause of deforestation and forest degradation in the Amazon. So you see that these changes are occurring in the Amazon, but also in other parts of the world. In this context, the GWIS, the Global Wildfire Information System, wants to provide harmonized, reliable, and up-to-date information about wildfires. We understand and we know that there are some countries that have very sophisticated systems, but we know that most of the countries don't have the systems to monitor wildfires, produce information, and don't have the knowledge to process that information. So we want to be a response for those countries. Okay, next. So how do we do that? We do that through meteorological data and Earth observation data. And I'm going to go through a number of slides showing some of the products and that we are providing. For instance, here I'm showing you a global map of fire danger. This is measured through the Canadian Fire Weather Index. We provide this information based on meteorological models at 8-meter resolution, real time, and we do forecasts for the next 9 days. With this, we aim to provide early warning information regarding wildfire so that people on the ground, decision makers, can make decisions about positioning means, extinction means on real time. What else? We try to collect information from all the satellites available, all the moderate resolution satellites. I'm talking here about MODIS, VIRS, and Sentinel-3 data, and provide information of where the thermal anomalies, where the active fires are occurring. And we do this with up to 8 updates every day. We also try to add some value to that information, and based on those thermal anomalies, create clusters or conglomerates of thermal anomalies. So this could be something like clusters of area affected by fires. You have the global map again, and I'm giving you this snapshot of the situation in Canada sometime this year. You see that we have a rough estimate of the area affected by fires in in some parts of Canada. Where else? We also estimate emissions. We get data from the Copernicus atmospheric management services, and we treat it so that we can have daily information on emissions coming from forest fires. Besides that, and along the lines of what Amos was mentioning before, we try to move from data and information to Earth intelligence. We are still far from that, but that's our goal. We want to organize all that information that I mentioned before in a way that is easily accessible for non-experts, so that it can support users in every country, and it can be integrated and used within, for instance, the policy process, right? If we want to, this information could be used for policy design, implementation, and evaluation. We are providing historical statistics on burn area, number of fires, emissions, and we are also providing information on real time. We also organize that information so that we can characterize the fire regime. And when I talk about fire regime, I'm talking about seasonality, number of fires, burn area affected, frequency of the fires, land cover and land use affected for each country and each region in the world. Whereas we are also providing long-term forecast of the main meteorological variables, in this case, temperature and anomalies. We know that this long-term forecast will always be taken with a pinch of salt, but we believe that this information is useful again when we are talking about decision makers that have to make decisions on how to position airplanes, helicopters, field crews for wildfire extinctions ahead of time. So user engagement and key partnerships. So going from left to right. So we are part of the European Commission, and our main partners are the Directorate Generals of the European Commission. Some of these Directorate Generals provide funds for research. Some others are users of the system, and some others are just part of the governance structure. Here I'm talking about DG Connect, that is related to artificial intelligence, DG DEFIS related to space and defense, DG ECO related to civil protection and emergency operations, and DG IMTA related to international partnerships. Besides that, a key component of GWIS is the GovSeagull Fire IT group. This group that is integrated by research institutions in several parts of the world. You can see there the logos. This includes NASA, NOAA, University of Maryland, the U.S. Forest Service, the Space Agency of Canada, and some others. And some others are basically providing the guidance and the advice for the evolution of GWIS. These are some of the main research institutions in our field, and their guidance is key and has been key to develop the system. Then when it comes to partnerships, we collaborate with several international institutions. For instance, we are closely engaged with the FAO Global Fire Management Hub. We also work with the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, the World Meteorological Organization. We work with the African Union, and in Latin America, we work with the Amazon Cooperation Treaty Organization and the Amazon Regional Observatory. This is not a comprehensive list, it's just an example. Just another example of how this information is used. This corresponds to the wildfires in Bolivia in 2024. For you to have an idea, there was a single fire in Bolivia in 2024 that was the size of Switzerland. And this information from GWIS was used within by DG ECO, so the civil protection body of the European Commission. There is this structure, it's called the Union Civil Protection Mechanism, for which a country can request support and the European Commission will provide that support. So in this case, Bolivia requested support to fight these fires, and DG ECO used the information coming from GWIS to evaluate the request and get an idea of which means and how they should be deployed. Where else, as a spin-off of GWIS, we have activities in different parts of the world. For instance, in this case, we are trying to replicate a very successful process that we had in Europe, or we have in Europe, and we have been having over the last 25 years, where we have a group of experts that is providing guidance to the development of the European system. In this case, we are trying to create an expert group of forest fires for Latin America and the Caribbean. This is a group that meets twice a year, and the idea is that we are trying to integrate the community to develop, to exchange experiences, develop guidance, and put together a mutual assistance mechanism. So these images I'm showing you is from the meeting we had in last May in Bolivia, in Santa Cruz. But last week we had our ninth meeting in Mexico City. Whereas new technologies, we are now trying to develop a global wildfire decision support system that again is mimicking a decision support system that we have in place for Europe. This system is supposed to put all the information within reach of the decision makers so that they can decide where to allocate. They can know where the fires are taking place, how those fires could evolve over time, and based on that, decide where to allocate the extinction means. When we take this to a global scale, we want to use extensive use of artificial intelligence to improve our fuel models, to improve our meteorological variables, so that we can improve the performance of the fire behavior models. Where else? So we understand that we are in a changing landscape of wildfire monitoring sensors. Some of the sensors are arriving to the end of the lifetime. There is some uncertainty about the space programs in some quarters, but we also know we are aware of some other initiatives. Wildfires at global coverage from the Canadian side. We monitor developments in commercial satellites, and we also monitor developments in geostationary satellites. And as soon as this information is ready, we will integrate it in GWIS. And then again, regarding sustainability, as I said, GWIS is coordinated by the Joint Research Center of the European Commission. We are part of the Commission, and therefore we have a budget line by the European Commission. Here you see some of the bodies of the European Commission that in one capacity or another are supporting our development. It could be that in the future, GWIS is integrated in one of the Copernicus emergency management services, and that could ensure our sustainability even for a longer period of time. And I think that's all from me. I will stop sharing, and I'll be glad to answer any questions.
So unless anyone has burning question for Fernando, I would like to move on to Xin Li for the nighttime like remote sensing for SDGs. Anyone is everyone okay so far?
Great. And Rui, maybe we can tell Fernando to respond to the questions like Michelle has been within the chat as they're coming.
Yeah. Yeah. So Fernando, Michelle.
Yeah, I'm trying to read the question now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Or Michelle, if you want, you can ask.
I meant, Fernando, that you can put your responses in the chat while we move
I'll
on
do
to
that.
the next.
Yeah, please. Yeah, I'll do that. Sorry.
Thank you. Take your time.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So all the speakers, please keep your eyes on the chat. Xin Li, do you want to? Oh, okay, great.
Okay,
and
see.
The floor is yours. Yes, but put it in the presentation mode, please.
Of course. Okay, thank you.
Still not in presentation mode, but because I can see. Oh, perfect. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it's some time delay. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, after this presentation, I will go for another mission. So hope that I can finish like after 10 minutes. Okay, so my presentation name is GEO Nightlight. Is now currently is a pilot initiative, but it will be upgraded in the next year to the initiative. So why we do this? Why do this project? Firstly, because From the satellite perspective, nightlight can reflect the socio-economic dynamics of the world, and it's a very good tool to track the urbanizations, regional development, or even disasters. So nightlight now is related to more than 20 SDG indexes, and it will be a GEO initiative to support SDG. It is strongly related to the SDG 1, SDG 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 16. So what kind of products that we can want to provide deliver? So firstly, we aim to provide the products including evaluation reports. This is a format of the products and also the thematic maps. So this example that we do for the Turkey earthquake in 2 years ago. So we several days after the Turkey earthquake, we quickly make a rapid assessment of the earthquake. This is a report released by the UNOSAT, United Nations Satellite Center. The name is Light Loss Assessment following the earthquake using the nighttime light imagery. So we use different kinds of nightlight data to track the disaster damagement for the whole country, or also some specific cities. So we can see that the nightlight has been reduced so much compared to the pre-disaster levels. So, for example, the Hatay province before the disaster is very bright, but during the just one day after the earthquake is very total. It's close to darkness. Yes. So another kind of products we want to deliver is now we have already achieved the delivery of these products. Is a SDG index. So we have used our nightlight data to produce the wealth index, which is kind of economic survey data for the whole world, especially for the developing countries. And we and SDG today. I know SDG today because we meet the lead of the SDG today in Rome in the May of the GEO conference. So we have that conference is a great platform to gathering together different kind of stakeholders, users, and also the knowledge providers such as me. So we quickly get some connections, and we provide our data set by sending them to the SDG today. So now they need to share to the global users. So I just get a message this morning. The SDG today want to ask to produce more data set now because now it's only in Africa. We'll do that. SDG want to ask because they get some requirement from the UN. So they want us to produce all the data set over the Arabic as well as the Western Asian countries. So SDG today is also a part of United Nations Sustainable Development Network. So another very important product we provide is in history we provide for the ICRC, the International Committee of Red Cross. So we know that Sudan now is under very severe humanitarian disasters. But even 2 years ago, we have supported the ICRC in Sudan. We make a power outage assessment in Sudan using the nightlight images, and the ICRC use this as a situation report maps on their wall when they're managing their evacuation of the staffs from the Sudan's capitals, Khartoum. So this is a very good case to show how the nightlights is useful. We can have a zoom in. We can see that in this map. So we can see that before the crisis, the Sudan, the capital of the Sudan is bright, but during the crisis, some regions are becoming dark. So these dark regions were viewed as very dangerous regions, so that when the ICRC organized the evacuation routines, they want to avoid these dark regions, so they make their staff and patients very safely. Yeah, so this is another example. Yes, we also support the UN, as for example, the UNGSC, the United Nations Global Service Center. So in this year, in the just in last in the last month, the UNGSC has dedicated to visit us, dedication to visit us. Because we have already support the UN peacekeeping missions. UNGSC is intelligence department to support the peacekeeping missions of the UN. And they said they report that we use nightlight data to strengthen the situational awareness analysis in support of MONUSCO. MONUSCO is a peacekeeping missions in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And yes, it will help them, the UN peacekeeper, to support the field missions. Yes, more concretely, we want you to make some real impact. One is we want to support the SDG progress evaluations, because every year there's a different organization have some white books. For example, the cities and climate actions reports from the UN Habitat. This is one case we want to use our knowledge to support their white books. And also we want to make some real ground operational support. For example, we use a nightlight to know the situational awareness of the humanitarian disasters, as well as some peacekeeping missions. And also the very practical cases, we can use our nightlight data to support the controlling light pollutions, because we can know that where the light pollution is more severe, and if some light pollution control policy has really make sense, we can use our satellite data to evaluate that. We have a very wide user partnership, like ICRC, UN OCHA, UNHCR, WFP, UNGSC, UN Spider, UNOSAT is the United Nations Satellite Center, and the JRC, Joint Research Center, and also the USA, yes. So these examples that we provide for the WFP, in the last year, we know that Lebanon have a conflict. So we use our nightlight data to produce the humanitarian situation report for Lebanon, and WFP has used this kind of report to support their action to distribute the cash assistance and also food assistance in the regions where the people suffering more, which can be measured by the nightlight. Another key partner is we collaborate with the UN USA, United Nations Office of Outer Space Affairs. So we are in this April we have an MOU with UN USA, and we have established a United Nations platform for space-based information for disaster management and the emergency response program. The name is so long, but as abbreviation called UN Spider. So using these these very good tools, platforms that we can deliver our knowledge and product to the UN, especially for the disaster reductions. So until now, we have supported the Myanmar earthquake evaluation, as well as Afghanistan earthquake evaluation, and also now currently happened is Sri Lanka flood. We do a lot of support for the UN Spider. Yeah, some new technology. One is now we are using a multi-angular observation of the night light. This kind of scientific concept, but we use that. We can help out to make our product more accurately, get more better better information product. And also we now using the highest resolution imaging technique for the night light. It can help us to control the light pollution more efficiently and also support some ground missions on the ground by UN. Yeah, sustainability now is because we have a multi source of funding opportunities. For example, from the state government, we now applying for the funding from Ministry of Science and Technologies and also some funding from the provincial government. So we believe that we can get enough funding to support this GEO initiative. And also also one student engaged in these programs, they can get very overviews benefits. So it can also support our scientific research as well as the international collaboration. So all kinds of sites can benefit from the GEO initiative. And also the Oriental Smart Eyes, which now is a new satellite constellation, which was designed by our Professor Li Deren now for high resolution satellite, which will be at the 20-meter resolutions, which will be another good tool to support our GEO initiative. Okay, thank you very much. I finished my talk. Yeah.
Thank you, Xin Li. Anyone in the audience who wants to ask him the burning question, or are you ready for Lin Fen's presentation? I think we might have a minute to take his question, but if not, Lin Fen, do you want to share your screen and get ready?
Yeah, sure.
So Lin Fen is presenting the new work program activity called the Decision Making System for Slope Risk Reduction Pilot. Lin Fen, floor is yours.
Okay, so can everyone see my screen? Okay, so thank you, Ray. I'm pleased today to present our pilot program that's a public-facing decision-making system for slope risk reduction. I'm Lin Feng from Beihang University, China. And originally, the title of my project is called the Decision-Making System for Slope Risk Reduction. But actually, this system is we say is a public-facing. It's for all users who has a concern with the slope instability, who has a concern with say how to mitigate landslide. So this system is developed to support users, even who are not the expert in this field, to detect landslide early warning signs and to understand the slope stability conditions. And also, the system also help to propose some professional and efficient stabilization measures to prevent the slope displacement. And next. So some people may wonder why I chose this kind of very specific topic. As you may know, landslide disasters are becoming increasingly severe worldwide, and with the rising frequency and scale. So this kind of activity are driven by multiple interacting factors like engineering constructions and global climate change and seismic activities, etc., etc., and leading to the significant loss of life and property. So I think we all know the significance of a landslide and also this kind of geohazards. So however, the public normally lack of a professional knowledge to assess the stability condition of a slope or to understand how to prevent further displacement on unstable slopes. So these challenges forms the rationale for the developing of a slope risk reduction system. It aims to receive, share, and transform multimodal Earth observation data, different types of Earth observation data, into actionable guidance for promoting landslide resilience. So this is kind of a challenges for for the public to mitigate landslide. And also, this is the rationale of our project. The next, our decision-making system integrates the EO data, the Earth observation data, and also the in situ measurements data, and also we can acquire online open access data. And also, we are constructing a stabilization cases, a database of more than 500, even more. We have more data coming. Unstable slopes, we say the measurement, unstable slope reinforcement cases. And this system will deliver two major outputs. So the first one is the slope stability assessment. So this session is to monitor the deformation and to identify landslide precursors, like we know tension cracks on the slope crest, or slope surface subsidence or seepage. These are all precursors, we say the indicators of landslides or unstable slopes, and also estimate the slope stability conditions. So it is to estimate how stable or how unstable the slopes are. And second is a proposal of the stabilization measures. So this system can propose the stabilization measures from unstable slopes in reference to the landslide precursors we detected from, for example, the drone data, the drone images, or optical images taken by, we say, the citizens, and some other data altogether. And also we can estimate the instability degree, and also the local and the natural standards for the slope engineering, especially, and the most important one, that is in reference to the previous experience in slope reinforcement cases during, for example, road construction engineering, because we have collaboration with the national road construction companies, and then they can show this kind of key data with us and to better understand how landslide triggered along with the road construction. And these stabilization measures will be tested and we say validated in numerical modeling for the optimization. This is the kind of the main data and the services from our project. And the system, so we say the system will be open to the public. The users concerned with the slope risk management will be able to import slope related data into the system and export the key insights into the slope condition to support informed decision making. In addition, we are developing a spatial fabric, a data sharing platform. So based on this, the users across different regions, different countries are able to share the open data and also the sensitive data, and directly or indirectly. So this data can enrich our database and optimize the model performance. This data sharing platform is built on two core capabilities: the trusted authorization space and also the privacy preserving computation. So it allows the sensitive data, including the classified or security-related datasets, to circulate safely and controllably within the authorized security domains. So rather than being completely restricted from the transmission, and also at the same time, using the federated learning and other privacy-preserving analytics technology. So this system enables cross-domain collaboration between open and sensitive data without exposing any raw information. So this dual mechanism ensure data governance and also the security regulation, while still unlocking the integrated and a multi-source value of the dataset held by different countries or different agencies because of the regulation of data. But so this is how we share the data with partners, and also how we integrate the other users and get the data from them. And as we see currently, this program involves 12 organizations from 9 countries across Asia, Pacific, Europe, and North America. Each partner has a clear defined roles in data supply and in computer vision-based algorithm development, and also large language model development, and also, especially, the system application to increase the program impact and visibility. So this international partnership supports the long-term operational capability of the program. And recently, we just had a offline exchange forum with our Italian partner. So we discussed about the key data sharing of the multiple landslide cases in Italy. And especially like the mountainous landslide, also he has some data for the coastal landslide. And also we discussed about the plan of the developing a rockfall detection and trees prediction tool for the early warning of the landslide. And this collaboration are within a framework of the program. So apart from the current partnerships, we are seeking more international collaborations to promote our program. So our goal is to empower the users, even we say those without geotechnical, geological, or engineering experience. So to make informed decision about the slope safety, once users obtained the basic background information. So for example, once they have this kind of background information of the specific unstable slopes, and then they can upload the key slope photos, and then the system can assess the slope stability condition and also propose some reinforcement measures for this unstable slope. So this promotes the broad public participation in disaster mitigation and also enhance landslide resilience. So new technologies, this generally, this system integrates several new technologies. For example, the computer vision-based algorithm to detect landslide precursors using remote sensing images. So these precursors includes, for example, the tension cracks, for example, the seepage, and also some kind of like a structure damage, exception. These precursors are indicators of slope instability, and also could be used to estimate the instability condition of the slope itself. And also second new technology is a 3D slope reconstruction using optimized 3D Gaussian splatting. And we can have we say a cluster of stereo images. Then we use this advanced, we say optimized 3D Gaussian splatting to construct the 3D model of the unstable slope. So this slope could be used for the input data of the numerical modeling. And also we can fully understand what a slope it looks like. And also we can understand where is the precursor located on the slope and also in the slope, and what kind of precursor it is visibly we can check. So this is another part of, and third one is a multi-agent large language model. So it is capable of proposing stabilization measures based on engineering standard, based on we say a previous experience in slope reinforcement. So for example, and also in these slides, we show up the milestones we have made. Although this is a pilot project, we also have some kind of advancement of this one. Me and my partners from Ningbo University in China co-developed a tension crack detection algorithm. And then this module will be plugged into the system for risk assessment. And the next one is about the sustainability. So I will talk that around three aspects. The one is technical, and second one is organizational, and third one is the financial support. So the technical sustainability is supported by continuous data augmentation and also improved large language model generalization and also enhanced, we say, precursor detection algorithms. So we are optimizing this kind of technologies with the argument with increasing data dimension, and also with our increased, we say, improved understanding of this kind of things. And also we have about the organization sustainability, we have more organizations get involved, and they have their own roles in this kind of a project. So we can make sure that we have this kind of development is continuous. So and the third one about the finance. As you know, these projects comes from we have partners from different countries, and for example, in China, from my side and from other side, especially from my side, I have got several funds from for example, from the university and from the company and also from the province. So this one could help me to support me to organize of a research and investigation activities, especially for landslide cases in China. And also we are helping our partners, for example, from Thailand, from Italy, to apply their national funds from their own country. So this is our plan as a pilot project. So in conclusion, this public-facing system democratizes the access to landslide knowledge by converting the complex Earth observation data and AI techniques into, we convert this kind of data into the practical guidance, the actionable decisions. So our vision is to make slope risk mitigation knowledge accessible to everyone and help community prevent landslide disaster before they occur. So thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much, Lim Fan, for this really exciting slope prediction system. I think we have like a time to take one question.
Yeah, sure.
Does anyone have, I know Davold had a comment, I guess, for collaboration, but anyone else who has a question for Lim Fan? Otherwise, maybe I'll ask a question. Meanwhile, Lim Fan, I didn't actually put this in the pre-question sheet. Oh, actually, Amos, please go ahead.
Amos, okay.
I was struggling to see where is the hand. So thank you very much. A very nice presentation to all others. But you raise a very important question, and I think that is what the open house is trying to do. One is you ask about partnership because we want to know. So the question to you is, what kind of partners are you looking for? Because from the African region, virtually you don't have a lot of it. So I would like to know what kind of partnership that you are looking for, so that maybe in the coming days and weeks, we could recommend to you some of the partners who are also doing similar work on, it may not be directly on this specific area, but disasters that can partner with you. Thank you.
Actually, Amos, your question was very similar to what I was thinking too, because previous questions, like the previous presenters, or mature activities, they seems to have like interesting like main user partners. Like for example, GSNL, they have the CIOS as a data provider as a strong partner, but the geohazard agencies in the countries, the GWIS pair up with the European Union, and they're basically the development support agencies part. Nightlight, they work closely with a whole bunch of UN agencies. So who do you want, who are you thinking about working with as a, user engagement strategy? That was like the question I wanted to ask, but it's quite similar to Amos. Over to you.
Okay, can I answer? Okay, so the first, thank you for your question, and also I think the one we want to collaborate it together. That's we need more data. We need more data. So which means definitely we need or we want the organization who have the very specific landslide investigation data. So with this data, we can able to optimized of model, and then this model could be used to produce a better decision for the landslide mitigation. So this is from the data supply. So we need, for example, who have this kind of data, and also the country who which prone to the landslide, especially hazards. And second one, we would like to collaborate with the organizations or with the people who has an interest in the technology development. For example, we say the computer vision based technical techniques, for example, landslide, a tension crack detection, like a damage, structure damage detection algorithms, who have interest in the collaboration together to developing these technologies. And also from another one, the large language model, so is a key component of a program. So who have the interest in this one is also welcome. So Amos, I'm not sure if I answered the question.
Good.
Thank you. Thank you. So also forget to highlight that this kind of a landslide data, because we know that we need very specific, for example, the in situ measurement data, and also very high resolution drone data as well. So this data maybe have some specific requirements. So this is the data supply, maybe very we say need some kind of selection. Thank you.
Okay, Limfen, thank you so much. So maybe we'll hold the more questions for Limfen for the later discussion. I want to present the last work program activity, Space and Security Convener. Sergio, are you back in your seat, ready to present?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, okay, great.
Okay.
The floor is all yours.
So thank you very much, Rui. Good morning or afternoon to everybody. My name is Sergio Albani. I am from the European Union Satellite Center, and I'm going to present to you our activities within the Space and Security Convener. So let me just start with a very brief introduction of the EU Satellite Center. We are an agency of the Council of the European Union, located in the vicinity of Madrid in Spain. What we have to do is to support the decision-making of the European Union in the field of the common foreign and security policy, that is a sort of foreign policy of the European Union, by basically providing geospatial intelligence services. So apart from these, we are supporting a number of European policies and programs. Just to give an example, SATSEN is the entrusted entity by the European Commission for the provision of the Copernicus service for security and support to external action of the EU. And we have in place a number of R&I and cooperative activities with ESA, for instance, EDA, and with GEO, the Group on Earth Observation. So let's move to the relevant part of this presentation. What is space security? So this started as a community activity in 2015, and our initial idea was to foster, let's say, the usage of Earth observation in civil security. Then, after passing the years, in 2023, within the 2020-2025 work program, we moved to be a pilot initiative, and we implemented a couple of pilots that I will present to you later to basically demonstrate the value of Earth observation for risk and resilience through pilots. And now we are now moving within this. We are now moving with this convener for the post 2025 strategy, in which we want to act as a vital link, let's say, connecting different geofocus areas. So the scope, again, building of activities that you are implementing within GEO since 2015. We want to address the increasing need of the safety and security of citizens by fostering integration of the different GEO focus areas, and in particular, the ones on food, water, and climate security, supporting the co-design of Earth intelligence solutions. Who is currently part of this convener, the same partners that were part of the pilot initiative? SATSEN, the European Space Agency, World Food Programme, Eurogeo Surveys, the Delft Institute for Water Education, the Instituto Geográfico Militar of Ecuador. And apart from these partners, we have a continuous dialogue with the Commission, Eurogeo, Amerigeo, and other partners like NASA, IARSC, UNDRR, and the World Research Institute. The objectives of this convener. The idea is we have 4 objectives declared. The first one is to disseminate and communicate these kind of activities, so space and security related activities, to engage stakeholders and possibly enlarging the GEO community. As I was mentioning before, the idea is to link different focus area within GEO to security-related needs and services, also supporting cross-domain research and innovation actions for security solutions. In the next slides, I'll go through these 4 objectives, explaining what we are actually doing and what we have done in the past for this. So the first one, dissemination activities. We are participating regularly in Eurogeo and GEO events, presenting the results of the pilots that we implemented and the lessons that we learned. We are promoting through the GEO communication channels and reports all our activities, also publishing results, resources via story map. Here in the slide, you can see a QR code. You can scan it and you have access to all these activities, apart, of course, on the GEO website. Engage stakeholders. So here the idea is within GEO, there are a number of different activities related to food, related to water, related to climate. All of them have a potential link with the security. So the idea is to bridge these activities, these initiatives related to security within GEO, in particular on these areas, connecting different focus areas with the idea to share methodologies, share experiences, share outcomes, and to promote coordination among the different communities to enhance a proper integration of results and outcomes. The third point, the third objective is related to linking this focus area to services. So we would like also to go for something, let's say, practical, so explore Earth observation-based pre-operational security services, working in applying Earth observation-based risk assessment and early warning capabilities in real scenarios. The idea is to respond to actual security needs, and to build on previous results that we already have within this community with 2 pilots that we implemented on water security and on infrastructure resilience. So I'd like to show briefly to you these 2 pilots. The first one was implemented when this was still a community activity within the 2020-2022 GEO work plan. It was a pilot coordinated by SATSEN, where a number of partners contributed. Eurogeo Surveys putting algorithms, ESA putting the processing capabilities, WFP putting us in contact with the local office in Pakistan. So we had these partners cooperating for analyze the effect of uncontrolled groundwater extraction in the cities of Islamabad and Rawalpindi in Pakistan, to see how this was affecting land, so the land subsidence on these areas. We did it using the DNSAR technique with the Sentinel-1 data. You can see in the box the results of these analyses. The red are the areas more affected by subsidence up to 4 centimeters, and basically, we were able to perform this study that you can access on the GEO website and confirm the origin of the subsidence and to deliver a report to the Pakistani authorities so that they can make decision that it's basically the role of SATS. And so we are providing reports to EU member states so that they can make informed decision on issues like this related to the safety and the security of population. The second pilot implemented within the 2023-2025 part of the work program was related to the monitoring of critical infrastructure in Ecuador. So this pilot was implemented together with the Instituto Geográfico Militar of Ecuador. They provided us with the areas and data and support from the field, and we did this analysis always related to the land subsidence, but this way going to evaluate the impact on critical infrastructures. In particular, buildings, health facilities, education facilities, and the line of the metro on the city of Solanda near Quito. And again, these are the results that you can see here with the subsidence and the possible impact of these critical infrastructures. Support to R&I action. This is the fourth objective. So the idea here is to promote cross-domain Earth observation-based R&I on security solutions. So SATSEN is participating or was participating in a number of projects related to GEO. I can just mention Next GEOs in the past and others. But also we are participating regularly in projects within the Horizon Europe framework, for instance, or EDF. This one, Atlantis, is related to protection of critical infrastructures, and we try to reuse results here to perform the study that we did within GEO. So basically, with this cross fertilization between different initiatives and projects, all these results are integrated within the geospatial data management platform, that is the SATSEN platform for maintaining R&I results. And this is a platform open to the GEO members of the space security community. So you can use this platform, have access to data, and play with algorithms and so on. All of these being a building block for the so-called CESDA, that's the Climate and Environmental Security Data and Analysis Hub, that will be the EU, the European Union official hub for climate security, supposed to be implemented by SATSEN and hosted by SATSEN in the coming years. So my last slide, how we want to move forward. We want to raise awareness of Earth observation value for security and resilience. That's basically what we are doing here right now. Foster cross-domain cooperation and synergies within GEO. So if you are interested in joining the community, just drop a line to me or to the GEO Secretariat. Of course, you can also propose some activities that you have in place within GEO in other areas or actually also outside GEO, and see how we can all of us benefit from them. The idea is the general idea to promote practical Earth observation applications in support to policy and citizen safety. And last but not least is we have this idea in mind that today, we are presenting this initiative within the disaster, let's say, slot. But security is a bit different domain, so they are quite related. But the idea is also with these activities one day to have a dedicated GEO security focus area in which we can somehow directly address the issue of civil security, of course, so the safety and security of citizens from hazards, climate, food, and so on. And I guess this is my last slide. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Sergio, and also being on time as well. We have time to take a question for Sergio, and also like his colleague Mikel is also online. Maybe as people are waiting or thinking about the question, maybe I have something. I'll just bring up a question for Sergio while people are thinking. So, how does your activity, space and security, bring together different communities or stakeholders, both within GEO and beyond, especially beyond to me, because what you presented in the slide, these were all pretty much familiar faces, pretty much in the traditional like GEO sort of community. So how are you trying to go sort of beyond to strengthen and share understanding of the space-related risks and the resilience needs over?
Yeah, so basically, we have we have a number of, let's say 3 lines. So there's one that is related to our participation in European Union programs and projects. So here, basically, what we do is when we're participating in proposals and so on, always to try to put the importance of GEO and of space and security within this. And I can see that this actually quite winning point because there's a lot of interest in Europe, at least on G-related activities. Also thanks to the Commission, that is this European Commission pushing this a lot. And within our cooperative activities, as I was mentioning in my slide before on R&I cooperation, so basically the idea is always to try to develop solutions that can also be useful for other communities. So EDA, ESA, that's a partner of the GEO community activity. So we are presenting these in a number of different fora. And last but not least, here in SATSEN, we regularly meet with EU member states and with a number of European entities. So we have dedicated meetings each 3 months, technical working group that are more technical and expert user forum group, so which that are more related to users, more user oriented. And within these, we are regularly reporting on our initiatives on these and also attracting, let's say, people from these different communities that are namely people from member states, from the foreign affairs ministers and so on. So that's a bit how we are trying to, apart from GEO, of course, trying to attract people and to promote our activities within GEO and to see how we can share all this knowledge that we are acquiring and trying also to give to you within GEO.
Thank you, Sergio. That's super interesting because, like we would like to have the GEO membership expanded. So maybe you'll be one of the, the facilitator to bring in the new membership into the GEO. Anyone else who wants to ask a question for Sergio and Mikel? If there's nothing immediately thought in your mind, I mean coming up to your mind, we'll actually move on to the discussion portion. Trying to share it. So we have 15 minutes of moderated discussion. So for everyone, please, this is the time to ask questions. So please raise your hand virtually. And if you wanted to ask question, and please unmute your mic when you're invited to speak. And please turn on your camera if possible. We would love to see you. And if you're too shy to speak up, please continue to use the chat box for questions and comments. So anyone who wants to ask a question, please raise your hand. Please don't be shy. Amos, I can always count on you. Please go ahead.
Yes. I think first, very nice presentations. It's been a very, I must say, it was very nice learning curve for me also, a lot of new ideas. But I want to bring back a question which was posed by the first presenter on super sites, because she mentioned a very important point. They are doing a lot of interesting work. They are trying to expand their territory. They are trying to collaborate. But the question to us as GeoWay program is, how can we help with additional resources to help them to be able to sustain? But you could also see that from other presenters, if you take is it Fernando's presentation? Yes, because he mentioned a very nice funding model whereby they are integrated into this whole EU system. So there is a dedicated budget line. So my question to all of us is, how do we find a mechanism, the different models, to see how first we can support GEO super sites. And yeah, it's more like an open question, but I would like to get ideas because the reason why I'm asking this question is within the program board, we are also pushing towards what we call an innovation fund, which is yet to go through all the protocols in order for it to be approved. But your answers or your comments will help us to understand the different in-kind support, local support, provinces support, state support, and even regional support so that we can put that in our plan. Thank you.
So that's a difficult question, but I mean, I guess it's not for Michelle, do you want to comment or any speakers? Fernando, first, Sergio, Xinli, Yingfen, or anyone?
Perhaps I can just comment briefly. No, thank you very much, Amos. I think, yeah, I mean, obviously, I think we have a lot of, as I said, kind of in-kind funding for GSNL and the super sites. But of course, the problem arises when we have super sites or volcano observatories in less developed countries, like I mentioned, and you know, with some places where people are really are struggling, you know, for a variety of reasons. But and in these cases, it's difficult for the super sites and for GSNL. An example of, for example, of a well-funded super site, if you like, or in a well-developed country, would be Hawaii and Iceland super sites. In Iceland, as I mentioned, the Icelandic Met Office, you know, has the capacity to pay for additional data. So these data sets that are acquired from ISI, so these satellite images, you know, are purchased through the Icelandic Met Office, which is fantastic for, you know, super sites or volcano observatories that have the capacity to do that. But this is just one example. But even Iceland does struggle here a bit, I must say, because these images are expensive. And of course, we constantly need to be justifying the funding, you know, and why should this resources be going on purchasing these images when they could be going towards a different part of monitoring, for example, or for different hazards, not just volcano monitoring. So I think this was just an example, but you know, as I said, there is a difference in the scale of the hazards. I mean, we are still struggling in Iceland because of the frequency of these events that are occurring on the Reykjanes Peninsula. But at the end of the day, these are quite small, effusive, or lava-forming eruptions. Okay, but in my example for Goma Volcano Observatory for the Virunga super site, you know, this is a very dangerous volcano, and it's not the only example. And as I said, going forward, I really want to encourage other areas or less developed countries to apply also for super site status. And I think there will be more applications in the coming year. So for these people who are applying, if the super site status is approved, we will want to be there to really ensure, you know, the success of these super sites so that we can help them get off the ground, help them with the initial processing of data, for example, setting up workflows, setting up new infrastructure in country. And to do this, we really do need additional support. So just to give you a bit more understanding of where that question was coming from.
Thank you, Michelle. As a DR coordinator, I spent a lot of time with the super site, Virunga super site, Charles Balagizi this year. I'm bringing him to the big UNDR conference, the global platform for disaster risk reduction. Like we had from the GEO Secretariat, we created a promotion video and really actively looking for, you know, basically the funding from the early warning for all. we will keep trying, and I really hope that the whole community can also actively support. Anyone else on this point? Daniela, do you have the question on this point or comments on this point?
Yes, in this point. Well, nice to meet you all. I'm Daniela Brauner. I work for GEANT. GEANT is the Association of the European National Research and Education Networks. So we are participating in GEO in the new GEO work program. In the GEO Connections is the name of our activities and enabling mechanism in that list of actions. And there we have the action, the idea to promote some discussions around the NRENs, so the national networks, and how we can support better researchers. I was listening to Michelle and to the other colleagues, and I think that we can promote in that activity like a questionnaire or some requirements gathering from those activities in the work program, to try to understand better what are the needs in terms of infrastructure and connectivity, or even in any digital infrastructure to support their international collaborations. Because as the NRENs, we are working together to support our researchers, and the idea is actually to see how can we help on your activities. So I think that we have a lot to discuss, and I will talk with you guys from the GEO Secretariat to propose this activity inside our work plan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daniela. Anyone else? I see a hand from Madiha.
Yes, it's on this point, actually, also on very high resolution imagery. And Michelle, this is something that my colleague Paula is leading on. Her team has worked on a mapping of very high resolution imagery providers. And now we're going to go to the members of GEO and try to assess their needs, the countries themselves. And perhaps Paula, if you're around, please speak up. But I think it might also be useful to go to the GEO work program activities as well. And like what you just said, Daniela, as well, match what we're going to hear from the countries, from what the activities already directly know that they need through their work. And then that'll give us a full, complete picture that we can then use to come up with some form of a strategy or an approach that's embedded with this whole infrastructure development work that Paula is coordinating and leading on. Paula, can I call on you maybe to say a few words if you'd like, so you can share the whole GIDTT effort with the colleagues here?
Sure, thank you very much. In fact, when Michelle presented on GHNL, there were some questions from me on the chat about this very high resolution. We will be contacting you to exchange more extensively on your needs, and of course all the speakers will be contacted to invite you to contribute to the GEO Knowledge Hub, because all the applications have been exposed today, except the wildfires are not yet in the GEO Knowledge Hub. So definitely we would be extremely happy to work together with you to welcome you in the GEO Knowledge Hub. And also on the very high resolution, yes, as Madia mentioned, we have done an initial mapping of different existing very high resolution imagery with respect to the different applications. And we are about to launch, if not before the end of the year, beginning of 2026, a survey. So all the needs will be well documented from all the community. I think that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Paula. Anyone else with a question? If not, can I ask a question for everyone? Madiha, go ahead.
I also have a question for everyone, but Rui, go if you want to take it, you go first. Yeah, me first. Okay. So thank you all for such great presentations. And it's great to see the diversity of all of your respective initiatives. I think if I could ask you, because you touched upon them in your respective presentation, but if you could just mention that one opportunity that you feel is absolutely crucial for you to unlock something. I don't know what it is, scaling, sustainability, but if you could prioritize and say this is what it's going to take for us to move to the next level, whether it's from pilot to initiative, flagship to mature flagship, what would you, from your specific perspective, it can be small, it can be broad, it can be whichever way you wish to position it. It's a bit of a lean on what Amos asked you as well, but would love to hear your vision for what it is that will take you to the next level.
So who's ready?
Maybe I can.
Yeah. Maybe start with Michelle if you're ready, or
Yeah, okay. Yes, for us, I guess it is about sustainability, right? We are, of course, dependent on the moment for these, as I mentioned, in-kind contributions from the different agencies and you know the super sites themselves. And I think GSNL really going forward, I mean, we want to provide this additional support, as I mentioned, to less developed countries. To be able to do this, we need to develop a new funding model, I believe, you know. So part of this I hope can be done via collaboration, but of course in some instances we just need to acquire direct funding. It can't be provided by in-kind resources. So yes, I think expansion of the super sites to less developed countries and really making a difference in these regions, because we've seen, you know, from the established super sites that this is possible, right? It's possible and it's making a difference with this kind of rapid uptake of information or results from the super sites to civil protection agencies. I mean, it really is being used in real time in Iceland, in Hawaii, in Italy. And seeing what a difference it can make really is, I think, really motivating us to reach out, as I say, more and to apply the same, you know, techniques, the lessons we've learned from the other well-developed super sites to other areas that could really benefit from this.
Thank you, Michelle. Next, Fernando, maybe? Just go in order.
Yeah. So I think I already mentioned it in the chat, and I'm not sure this would take us to the next level, but we would welcome some help, some support on capacity building. Not necessarily doing the capacity building, but maybe preparing capacity building materials itself. As I mentioned in the chat, we are simply too busy running the day-to-day operations and development and evolution of the system. It's hard for us to focus too much in capacity building. Right now, we are doing it doing it in Latin America and the Caribbean because we have a specific project there. But if we would want to do it somewhere else in the world, we would run too thin. So we wouldn't be able to do it the way we are organized now. So any support on that front would be most than welcome. Thank you.
Thanks, Xin are you still there? Xin Li? No. Ling Fen? Are you still here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, great.
So thank you for everyone's suggestions and also this kind of potential collaborations and also you're willing to share this key data for us. Thank you.
So key data. And the Sergio, please.
Yeah, I guess I already mentioned it it was the last point of my last slide. So to this need for us to have, let's say, clear and defined, a coherent identity. So I mean that basically once security was intended to be a single domain, it was a bit scaring, let's say, and there was not the full understanding of what security means. So it was, an analyst working on some specific task, receiving a task, analyzing images, and so on. While now we understand that basically security is a very complex domain. Of course, I'm talking about civil security, so nothing related to defense or military or this kind of stuff. Is purely civil security, so the safety, the well-being, and the security of citizens. And now we understood that basically domains that we were thinking being not connected, like climate and security, actually they are. So we can see more and more example of how climate change is having an impact on the security of citizens, for instance, driving migration, just to give a clear example, or energy security that's become popular with the aggression of Russia to Ukraine, or health security. We all have in our mind, the COVID period, let's say, era. So, taking into account that now security is a very, very complex domain in which we have these interconnected scenarios that are affecting impacting the safety of citizens, it should be important for us to go to the next level, as it is the question, to have this recognized within GEO, so to have a dedicated place, in which we can discuss actually what security is, and this is actually the aim of the convener. So we were able to go to the next level when we will achieve this result, let's say, in cooperation with the Secretariat, to be able to have this space in which security is addressed as a single domain and not as now within different ones.
Thank you, Sergio. Wembo, do you want to come in to compliment, ask questions?
Well, actually, so I observed an interesting offer in the chat. James Amate from Ghana, funding opportunities. That is really exciting. Michelle also asked, can he connect the funders to support super sites in underdeveloped countries? And Madiha also has a question. So James, I don't know if you want to speak up here to provide more details.
James, are you a very shy person who likes to be in the chat space? Or maybe he's struggling to find the unmute button.
Yeah. Anyway, so we have Amos, the PB co-chair, very senior representative within the GEO community. I mean, so we can ask Amos to explore the details for us.
So this nicely, please give a segue to the last portion of this webinar. Unfortunately, the time is near the end, so I want to give the floor back to Amos for the closing. Amos, floor is yours.
Thank you very much, and a very nice one. First, to hear that in the midst of all the challenges, there is a potential for some funding opportunity. So James, I will surely get back to you. Then we can speak the language that will help the GEO community. But before I say my closing remarks, I just want to use the opportunity to thank Madiha. Madiha, can you please show your photo somewhere? Because I remember when you were sharing this idea, I didn't quite understood it, but I think today we are seeing the results. And thank you, Rui, for taking up the challenge as a first starter to organize this in a very short time. And to all the presenters for making time. I know it was on short notice. but you managed to come out with a lot of put all the things together, which is very, very important. I think this first open house webinar is showcasing quite a number of good lessons that we can take forward. For me, I see that GEO, we are doing quite a lot, whether we are engaging with the UN, some are engaging with the UN, some are engaging with local communities, others are developing some critical areas using AI and all of this. These are all important in us building the, let me call it, the dotted connected network of the Earth intelligence for all that we need. So, so I think what is important is that we will continue this series. I think next year, first quarter, maybe there's going to be another one. So this is going to be important. I don't know when first quarter we are going to have the next series of presenters from the GEO web program. But I think what I want to stress is that for all the presenters, please do remember, and everyone who is here, that we are also going to have our GEO symposium. And it will be important, as you have presented, is to start to prepare yourself to show some other things that you would like to show to the broader community next year. And to also mention that within GEO, for those of you it's first time, we have the GEO Knowledge Hub, which is more like, let me call it the permanent storehouse for GEO. So this thing will be there. So do go there to visit. And Paula is always there to say where the things are. And as mentioned, also, some of the initiatives have not yet interacted with the GEO Knowledge Hub. So please, this is an opportunity. Reach out to Paula and she can go through, share with you how you can be able to make sure that all of these things work well. So if you look at in closing, what I want to say is that it is an important opportunity for all of us, and we look forward to see more open house webinars next year. And we call on all the other initiatives within the GEO work program to reach out to Madiha, Wembo. Wembo, I've not forgotten about you, because you have to, you send me a lot of reminders to make sure that I don't forget about today's program, which which is very essential. So I think we call on to all others to make sure that you are all preparing. I think we want to reach a stage in 2026 where we have maybe 50 or more initiatives or pilots and one or reaching out to the secretaries to say that we want to be able to have the spotlight on the open house. So let us make it as one of our own, where we can be able to share our challenges, our experiences, and using it as a room or a yardstick by which we can be able to collaborate. I want to also thank my co-chair, Justina. I see that she's been online. Thank you for joining. That is very, very important. And to everyone who had to wake up so early or had to forfeit some lunch or dinner or something, we are grateful to all of you for making time for this webinar. This was a very, I must commend everyone, because this was a very huge participation. I wasn't expecting, but we saw quite a number of people, which is a very positive one. So thank you, everyone, and looking forward to see you all either online next year for the second webinar or in for the GEO Symposium. Over to you, Ray, if there is any other thing to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Amos, for a beautiful closing. I just wanted to end with our big thanks to the speakers, and also Mikael was a bit shy and he didn't show his face. He was also preparing and working with Sergio. So big thanks to all of our speakers once again, and very much looking forward to having more of our GEO Work Program activity leads and members to present next year. With that, thank you so much, and have a nice rest of the day and evening. Bye.